20,000. That's the
Yeah.
number that it jumped right out at me when I started going through this research. It's one of those stats that feels almost too big to be real, but, well, when you do the math, it's just biology.
It is a massive number,
Mm.
and it really puts everything else we do into perspective, doesn't it?
Right. Humans breathe about 20,000 times a day. And the first thing I thought was, if I did anything else that many times, push-ups, writing code, anything, I'd be a world-class expert. I'd be an Olympian at it.
That's the rule of repetition. You do it that much, you should have mastered it. You should be drawing energy from it efficiently every single time.
Exactly. We should be energizing ourselves with every single breath. But here's the plot twist. And honestly, this is where our deep dive gets a little uncomfortable. Despite this incredible volume of practice, literally from the moment we're born, the sources all suggest that most of us are doing it completely wrong. And the result isn't just that we're not breathing Olympians, it's that we are tired, anxious, and physically depleting ourselves.
It's the great paradox of modern life, really. We have this engine for vitality right under our noses, but we're running it on dirty fuel. Or maybe the fuel is fine, but the intake is broken.
And the sources for today, this fascinating collection of guides on Ayurvedic breathing and Yoga Shastra, they have a specific term for this. It sounds almost like a plumbing issue. They call it prana shaktika leakage.
The leakage of life energy. It's a powerful metaphor because it implies that the energy isn't just gone, it's being actively wasted, it's just dripping away.
That's what I want to dig into. The whole premise is that every time we take a wrong breath, we aren't just failing to get enough oxygen. We are actively letting vitality escape. We're basically walking around with a hole in our energetic bucket.
That is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're looking at teachings from figures like Baba Ramdev and Acharya Krishna to understand this whole mechanism. The mission isn't just to learn how to breathe, we all know that, but to understand how this wrong breathing messes with our digestion, our focus, our hormones, and how to patch that leak.
Okay, so let's start with definitions. Because prana is a word that gets thrown around a lot, sometimes a bit loosely. But the source material draws a very hard line here. It says breath is not just oxygen.
This is the fundamental shift you have to make. If you only see breath as gas exchange O2 in, CO2 out, you miss the entire Ayurvedic perspective. Oxygen is the chemical carrier, yes, but the payload is prana.
Prana being the vital life force.
Correct. It's the subtle energy that, well, it rides on the breath. Think of it like electricity running through a wire. The wire is the physical breath, but prana is the current. And this is where it gets technical. Prana is the force that actually controls the three doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha.
Okay, let's pause there. I know our listeners are pretty familiar with the doshas, the bioenergies, but we usually talk about them in terms of food or body type. You know, I'm a pitta, so I shouldn't eat spicy food. How does breath control the doshas?
It's the upstream controller. The source material highlights this specific chain reaction. Without electricity, the prana flickers or surges because of poor breathing. It specifically aggravates vata.
Vata, the energy of movement and air.
Right. But think about what vata represents in the nervous system. It's the impulse, the speed of signals. When you breathe shallowly or too fast, you're spiking vata. You're essentially running too much voltage through the system.
So let me translate that. I'm sitting at my desk. A stressful email comes in. My breath gets short and shallow. In that moment, I'm not just stressed. I am mechanically overvolting my vata dosha.
Exactly. And that vata disturbance creates this feedback loop. Because the breath is erratic, vata spikes. Because vata is spiked, the nervous system stays in that fight-or-flight state. The gut shuts down, the mind races, sleep becomes impossible.
It's a hardware problem caused by bad software.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the source implies this loop just perpetuates itself. You can't just think your way calm because the breath is still signaling danger to your body 20,000 times a day.
That is actually a little terrifying. It means we're unconsciously triggering our own anxiety loop all the time. But before we all spiral, the material gives us a way to check this, a self-audit.
Yes, and it's something everyone listening can do right now.
Okay, let's do it. So for you listening, unless you're driving, of course, just stop for a second. Don't change anything. Just notice. Where is your breath going? Is it moving your chest or is it moving your stomach?
This is the diagnostic.
And according to the source, the answer tells you which operating system you're running on.
If you look at the visuals in the material, the stressed state, that vata imbalance, is always shown as shallow chest breathing. You see the shoulders creeping up, the upper chest heaving. It's a very tight movement.
Which is how I always catch myself breathing on a deadline. Shoulders up, neck tight.
It's the posture of defense. Evolutionarily, we breathe into the upper chest when we're running from a tiger.
Yeah.
It's fast, accessible air. But if you do that sitting in a chair, you are telling your body there is a tiger in the room
Yeah.
all day long,
Versus stomach breathing.
which is the rest and digest mode. The visual shows a figure whose belly just rises and falls like a balloon. That means the diaphragm is actually descending. And when the diaphragm drops, it massages the vagus nerve and signals safety to the brain.
So the leakage of prana is just us staying in tiger mode, burning through our battery for no reason.
Precisely. We're leaking energy into tension instead of storing it for vitality.
Okay, so we've identified the leak. We know we're doing it. Now we need the patch kit. The source material lays out this toolkit of 5 specific techniques. And what I really appreciate is that these are very specific mechanical actions, not just relax.
There are algorithms for the breath.
Let's run through them. The first one is probably the most famous, annulum vilum, alternate nostril breathing.
The classic.
I have to be the skeptic for a second. I've seen this done, thumb on one nostril, finger on the other. It looks a bit ritualistic. Is there a real physiological difference between inhaling through your left or right nostril? Or is this just about slowing down?
That's a valid question. And the source material is very clear about this. It's not just about air restriction. It's about the nadis.
The energy channels.
Yes. The Ida and the Pingala. Think of the body as having a dual-core processor. The left nostril connects to Ida, which is cooling, lunar, and linked to the right brain, the creative side. The right nostril is Pingala heating, solar, linked to the left brain, the logical active side.
So it's like the body's HVAC system. You've got a heating vent and a cooling vent.
In a way, yes, but it's also a neurological switch. The whole point of annulum vilum is to equalize the flow between these two hemispheres. If you're feeling scattered, it usually means one side is dominant. This technique syncs them up.
So when the source says it calms the brain, it's talking about literally integrating the left and right hemisphere.
Exactly, and optimizing oxygen flow to both sides equally. It's the great harmonizer. If you feel mentally lopsided, this is the fix.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, technique number 2 feels like the complete opposite. Annulum vilum is gentle, but Kapalbhati, this one looks intense.
Kapalbhati is fire.
The source calls it abdominal pumping. Passive inhale, forceful exhale. You snap your stomach back.
Yes. While annulum vilum balances, Kapalbhati cleans, the source uses the term Agni, the digestive fire. The goal here is the removal of ama.
Ama being toxins.
Toxins, but more specifically, it's that sticky, undigested metabolic waste. In Ayurveda, that's the root of disease. By forcefully pumping the abdomen, you're doing 2 things. Mechanically, you're pushing out stale air from the very bottom of the lungs, the CO2 that never gets cleared with shallow breathing.
Like squeezing the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube.
Right. And energetically, you are stoking that digestive fire. You're physically massaging the liver, the pancreas, the stomach. It's a detox.
So annulum vilum balances the HVAC, and Kapalbhati cleans out the furnace.
That's a very good analogy. It incinerates lethargy.
Moving on to number 3, Brahmari pranayama. This one is fascinating because it involves sound. The visual is someone closing their ears and making a humming noise.
The humming bee breath.
Right. I've tried it and it feels strange. You're just sitting there buzzing. What's the mechanism? Is it just a distraction?
It's sensory deprivation combined with vibration. The source claims this directly calms the hypothalamus.
The brain's command center.
Exactly. The part controlling the autonomic nervous system, hunger, sleep. When you close your ears, you cut off external sounds. Then you generate this internal hum. That vibration resonates physically through your skull and the pituitary gland.
An internal sound bath.
That's it. It forces the mind inward. The source specifically notes a reduction in anxiety and anger because you're physically vibrating the nervous system into a lower frequency. It's like hitting a tuning fork to reset your brain's pitch.
So you're basically putting your brain on do not disturb mode.
And holding the button down until it reboots.
I love that. Okay, technique 4, Ujjayi pranayama, the ocean breath, the one you hear in yoga classes, that Darth Vader sound.
It is distinct, yes. It involves a slight constriction at the back of the throat, the glottis, so you can hear the breath passing.
The source talks about warming the breath. Why is that important?
It prepares the air for the lungs, but the source highlights another benefit that's really interesting, thyroid function.
Really? Just from constricting your throat?
The theory is that the gentle friction and vibration created by the air passing through there, it massages the thyroid area. Since the thyroid regulates metabolism, Ujjayi is seen as a way to help balance it. Plus, the resistance trains your lung capacity. You have to work a bit harder to pull the air in.
So it's resistance training for your lungs, with a thyroid massage on the side.
Correct.
Which brings us to the fifth and final tool, deep yogic breathing. This seems like the foundation for everything else.
It is the integration.
The source describes it as a wave, belly, then ribs, then chest.
Most of us have fragmented breathing. It's just chest or maybe just belly. Deep yogic breathing connects all three chambers. You fill the stomach, then expand the rib cage, and finally lift the collarbones.
And the benefit listed here is nourishing every cell with prana.
It's about volume and flow. When you breathe that deeply, you are flooding the system with oxygen and prana, and at the same time, signaling the parasympathetic nervous system to take over. You physically cannot remain in a state of panic if you're breathing that way. It's biologically impossible.
The ultimate override switch for stress. But, and there's always a but, Section 3 of the source material has this massive warning. It's labeled, the secret most people miss.
Context.
Right. You can't just do these techniques whenever you feel like it. Or, well, there's one specific time you absolutely shouldn't.
The golden rule of pranayama. Never on a full stomach.
Which is devastating for anyone who gets that post-lunch slump and thinks, hey, I'll do some Kapalbhati to wake myself up.
That would be a mistake. A big one.
Walk us through why. What happens if I do these forceful breaths after eating?
It goes back to Acharya Balkrishna's explanation about the competition for energy. When you eat, your body rushes blood and prana to the stomach for digestion. It's an energy-intensive process.
The food coma effect.
Exactly. Your energy is busy. If you then start doing heavy breathing exercises, you're demanding that prana move to the lungs and the brain. You're pulling resources away from the stomach.
So you're just confusing the body.
You're creating a war for resources.
Yeah.
The source says prana ends up fighting digestion. The result is the food doesn't digest properly, which creates more toxins. And you don't get the mental benefit from the breathing. You lose on both fronts.
So empty stomach is absolutely non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
The source points to an optimal window, Brahma Muhurta.
The pre-dawn hours, 4 to 6 a.m.
Which, let's be honest, is a big ask for a lot of people.
It is, but the logic is sound. It's not just about piety.
Yeah.
At that hour, your stomach is undeniably empty.
Yeah.
The air has the highest oxygen concentration. And maybe most importantly, your mind is blank. You haven't checked your email yet.
You haven't triggered that Vata feedback loop for the day.
Exactly. Nature is waking up. And if you can align your prana with that rhythm, the effects are amplified. But look, if 4 a.m. is impossible, the empty stomach rule is what matters. Before dinner is still better than after.
Right. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, but definitely don't let a big meal be the enemy of your prana.
That's a good motto.
Looking at all this, the mechanics of the leak, the toolkit, the timing, it really shifts how we think about health, doesn't it? We usually see health as something we buy or something we fix when it's broken.
This presents health as something you generate, continuously.
The source material sums it all up with a maxim that I found. Oh, well, really beautiful. Jaisa Shwaz, Wisaman, Jaisaman, Wisajivan.
As the breath, so the mind. As the mind, so the life.
It's profound because it's so linear, so direct.
It cuts through the complexity. We think our life is chaotic because of our job, or the economy, or our relationships, and those things matter. But Ayurveda argues that if your breath is chaotic, you will perceive everything as chaotic. If your breath is steady, you can navigate the chaos with a steady mind.
It puts the control right back in your hands. Or, I guess, your lungs.
It's a binary choice. Wrong breathing leads to disturbed doshas and that energy leak. Right breathing leads to a sealed, energized system.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a thought that really made me sit up straighter when I first had it.
Oh yeah, what's up?
We talked about how the leakage causes fatigue. And I know a lot of people listening right now are tired. You probably think it's your boss or the kids or the news. And maybe it is.
Sure.
But based on what we just learned, if you are feeling drained right now, in this moment, take a second, look at yourself. How are you sitting? Are you hunched over? Is your breath caught in your throat?
Is your vata spiking right now as you listen?
Exactly. So ask yourself, is the world exhausting you? Or are you leaking your own battery life simply because of how you're breathing while you listen to this deep dive?
That is the question. Fix the leak, fix the energy.
Go check your breath. Thanks for listening.